caught up in the American punishment system and its prison industrial complex. What I comprehended about the system before that moment was superficial at best. I never understood to what extent I and my family have unconsciously contributed to the maintenance and continuance of this wretched and barbaric institution every time, over the past 20-plus years, that we have communicated or visited with my brother. Money orders, phone calls, emails, food and drink purchases to enjoy with him during our visits, purchases of instant photos in some vague attempt to memorialize our brief reunions, leaving him cash money with the commissary clerk on our way out. Because my brother was locked up and we visited him, I didn't realize how I was also locked up with him. Like anyone or any family who insists on maintaining a relationship with an incarcerated loved one, your life is strangely there too. I gradually came to know intimately the truth that judges and prosecutors don't think about the fact that when they incarcerate a man or woman, that they're locking a family up with them. In their haste to convict and incarcerate, America's judges and prosecutors overlook or ignore the fact that the defendant is also someone's brother, son, father, somebody's child, a human being. The complex character of the person captured is reduced to one dimension: criminal, tried and duly convicted. The defendant's sovereign human life doesn't factor into the punishment imposed. It doesn't factor into the decision to put a person away for 20, 30, 40, 50 years because they're afraid of them. It didn't factor into their decision to put away, to disappear my brother for life. Having taught African American and African diasporan history and culture for most of my professional career, I know how the history of slavery informs and shapes American social and cultural institutions, particularly American penal institutions. But my brother's life imprisonment in Angola is not academic, nor are the lives of millions of other detained and incarcerated human beings and their families. And yet, as I looked into the possibility of my brother's freedom and began to ask the question, how did we get here? I felt as though I was experiencing some version of The Truman Show, where I was a character already cast and playing her role in a national narrative. Weren't we all? I was living the history, the official American master narrative that I had been researching and teaching. My folks had finally been able to move from renting a house to home ownership in 1970. The street on which we lived intersected with Fuqua Street. Other than its curiosity, I never gave the name of that street a second thought. But in researching the history of Angola, the place that I was condemned to visit and sustain for the duration of my life, or my brother's life, I learned that Fuqua Street was named for Louisiana Governor Henry Luce Fuqua, who, before he became governor, was the first general manager of the Louisiana State Penitentiary in Angola. And in researching the roots of Angola Prison, I found myself retracing the routes of the European transatlantic slave trade. Angola State Prison was originally a slave plantation. Many believe that the plantation and the prison were named to commemorate the place of origin of those who had been enslaved there. Others state that the timeline of the United States' 1807 abolition of the international trafficking of Africans and Isaac Franklin's purchase of Angola Plantation in the 1830s doesn't support this popular belief. While the name Angola did refer to the region from which millions of Africans were extracted and forced into an abominable history, the plantation was not named by Franklin as a nod to enslaved Angolans. Rather, slave trader and slave plantation owner Isaac Franklin named the estate Angola to laud his success and his prominence in the commerce of the international trafficking of Africans. Proof of his business prowess, the naming was a testament to his greed for excess wealth and fame. It was a trophy that symbolized his prerogative to take the ancestral languages and words of those subjugated, a flaunting of the glory he gained in holding dominion over the bodies of human beings that he